Now, all right, the recording just started. I'm gonna say Shalom Mashbakai, Yahweh Shem Shabrakadam. We're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Power, Abanawa Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, the one who the world ignorantly calls Christ, Yahweh Shah. Right. So, what we're gonna do? We're gonna continue on with this Genesis breakdown. You feel what I'm saying? We're gonna continue going through the Torah, the whole Torah. Most High will. You know what I mean? Continue on right now at Genesis chapter 4. We're gonna do 4 and 5 today. Con? So now let me pull up. I don't know why I be doing this. I never remember how to do this. All right, how do I pull up StreamYard right here? Matter of fact, here, boom. I don't know why I just did that.
Yeah.
There we go. Give me a sec. All right, you see my screen, right up?
Come.
Oh, praises. Right. And let's see.
I can't wait to get this going. We do every Saturday.
I'm ready for that.
All right. Okay, this is not how I actually want it to look. Let me see. We'll go back. Yeah, y'all can y'all there, right? Genesis 4.
Come.
All right. Just type this up real quick. This is here we go. All right. So we're gonna keep on keeping on. We had lost that. I told you we lost that footage of Genesis 2 and 3. So we're gonna go back and re-record that probably later on tonight. But we wanted to keep on since we already went through that.
Okay.
But all right, so yeah, you call it and read it out.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4, from the top. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High.
So she conceived and bare Cain, right? This is their first child, right? Read on.
And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep.
Now, you know what? This made me just remember too. I heard a doctrine one time, which this kills all that. The doctrine I heard one time was that somebody said I don't know if it's the Christians that pushed this, but they said the sin that it was with Eve and the snake was that she slept with him and Cain was his child. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all ever heard that. But anyways, whatever that is, wherever that came from, we see that's off. This is letting you know that Cain is Adam's son. Huh? You see that? Right? He said, and Adam knew Eve, meaning he slept with his wife, Eve his wife, and she conceived. She gave birth or got pregnant because of that interaction and bare Cain. So Cain is Adam and Eve's son, and said, I have gotten a man child from the Most High, right? And you read on.
Verse 2, and she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
So we see their professions, what they did. Cain was more of a farmer, you know what I mean? And Abel, he was a sheep herder, right? But we don't.
And verse 3, and in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground and offering unto the Most High.
Right, so he brought an offering to the Most High. It says in a process of time, so this is not right in the beginning. After a while, they was doing this. They was already doing this. After a while, this certain situation happened, right? And we're gonna read on.
Genesis 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought brought of the firstlings of the flock
Mm-hmm.
and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Uh-huh.
Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
Mm-hmm.
And Cain was very wroth, and of his conscience fell.
Countenance fell, showing the closeness they had with the Most High. But here's the thing, though. One thing we're seeing right here is that they kept the law of sacrifice. They understood that. Why would the Most High have respect on one sacrifice and not the other? If they didn't have a law on the sacrifice anyways. You feel what I'm saying? This is saying, he said, when we read from the top of 3, it says, and in the process of time it came to pass. So now, after all this time they've been doing these sacrifices, all of a sudden the Most High didn't like Cain's sacrifice. We're gonna see why. Let's get on real quick. Exodus 13, verse 12.
This is good. I've never known why. I
didn't. Yo, Con.
We're gonna see why. They already had the law. Remember when we went into it, that breath of life was the law. Most High gave Adam that law, and he taught it to his children. Right? So we're gonna get that Exodus 13 and 12. You can still see us, right?
Yeah, come.
Okay, you can see us and you can see the screen.
Come. No, I can see you. I can see you, and I can see the ark next to you, and I can see your name.
You can't see the screen though?
Yeah, I don't see nothing else but that. I didn't even know there was supposed to be something other than that,
All right, let me let's see.
13, 12.
How do I pull this up?
Exodus 13.
This one, because it should have me right here. This is the one they got us on right now, right? So that should be it, right? Shift 6. Are you saying it's this one?
Oh yeah, you're right. That should be that one.
So why is it not doing that? Screen layout 6. Ah man. It's the whole reason why I wanted to do StreamYard. All right. I don't know how to work this.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's the main thing though. I wanted to make sure that people was able to actually see what we looking at. You feel what I'm saying? And that you'll be able to see it. And you said what, this one right here? Yeah, it's not coming up. Let's see, shift 7. Oh man, well. I guess I gotta try to work on this again. I gotta do more testings. Today we not getting it. Unless my computer's just messed up like that. But anyways,
Exodus 13?
12, 13?
Yeah, Exodus, what did I say? Exodus 13. Okay,
no,
13, 12.
Yeah, I got it backwards.
13 and 12.
Sluggy.
All right. Yeah, so we're gonna see why. What did it say with Abel again? Let's read that again, verse 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof.
So he bought the firstling of the flock and the fat thereof. The firstling is the firstborn, the choice, right? The choice one, the fat thereof, right? Let's get Exodus 13, 12.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 12. That thou shalt set apart unto the Most High all that openeth the matrix.
It's supposed to add that's the firstling, the first one, right? That set apart, the one that opens the matrix, the firstborn, right? Read.
And every firstling that cometh of a beast, which thou hast, the male shall be the Most High.
The male shall be the Most High. And that's exactly what Abel did. He kept the law of that, the sacrifice of animals, the firstling of the flock, right? Let's go back to the Genesis 4.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof.
Right. Yo, I'm so tight right now because I really want to get into Yeah. All right. Let's get go ahead. Keep on reading.
And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
So the Most High respected that offering because he did what he wanted him to do, what he told him to do, right? But read on.
Verse 5. But unto Cain,
right? Read.
And to his offering, he had no respect, not respect.
Right? Read.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Yeah, the Most High didn't respect his offering. Why? Let's get Leviticus chapter 2. Leviticus chapter 2, verse 12.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 12. As for the oblation of the first fruits.
So this is talking about the first fruits, the offering, the oblation, the gift, the offering that we give to the Most High of the first fruits, the first ones that come, the first fruits, right? Fruit, vegetables, grains, all that. The first ones that grow. Same way it's the first of the cattle, the first of the fruits belong to the Most High also, right? Read on.
Ye shall offer them unto the Most High. But they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savor.
Right, read on.
And every oblation of thy meat offering.
Now, here, this might get some people confused. And this also shows that, you know what I mean, we can't be only going by the King James, you know what I mean? And we can't only go by the English. We have to go dig into the original language. You feel what I'm saying? The way this was translated to meat offering. But in all actuality, this offering is talking about grains and fruits and all that. When you read this whole chapter 2, it's talking about straight fruits and grain. Fruits, grains, vegetables. You know what I'm saying? But it says meat offering. That's one thing I wanted to pull up too. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone since I can't share the screen on here. Let's see. Slovakia. I'm pulling it up on my phone. Hopefully I can share it with the screen and they see it good. Right. But Leviticus 2:13, meat offerings. It's basically saying when you read it in the Hebrew, it's saying an offering of gifts. You know what I mean? That's all it's saying. When we jump down to the when I pull this up and I go to here. Matter of fact, my fault. The offerings of meat. What it translates to, show the English, the Genesis Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. It says a tribute which is exacted from a tributary people and under a milder name of a gift. That's what it's translating to. Specifically, a sacrifice without blood, opposed to a bloody sacrifice, right? Yeah, that's not going to show. I keep doing it. I don't know if that shows a little better. It's a little too small.
You could, High Genesis Hebrew Chaldee lexicon tribute, which was exacted a tributary people under milder name of a gift. Yeah, I can see that. See that. Yeah.
Sacrifice without blood, opposed to that with blood. For everybody to see. It's always good to go into that original language, right? Now I'm gonna go to real quick. I'm gonna go to Bible Hub. I got the Bible Hub app, and I'm gonna pull that up. And here, and it shows you actually what the different translations say. Now you see, I go into both the Hebrew and the Greek, so I say off the rip, the King James is the best one to deal with. I stick with that wholeheartedly, but in some occasions, the other ones might render specific verses a little better. Like this one right here, right? I went to the Bible Hub app, and it pulls up. You type up what verse you want, and it pulls it up in all the different versions, right? So y'all can see Leviticus, and it pulls it up in all different versions. You just, move it, and it shows you all the different versions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said blatantly sometimes. Sometimes the words is mixed up. But it says in the NIV right here, it says, season all your grain offerings with salt. You know what I mean? Do not leave the salt of the covenant of your God, right? the NLT, the New Living Translation, season all your grain offerings. English Standard Version, ye shall season all your grain offerings. It's letting you know that this is not actual meat offerings. Of course, the King James said, in every oblation of thy meat offering, but it's people get mixed up with that. The New King James, in every offering of your grain offering, ye shall season with salt. And it keeps on with that, every grain offering, until you get down to, let's see, American Standard, in every oblation of thy meal offering, right? But then when you go to the Brenton Septuagint translation, this actually translates it a lot better. And it says, and every gift of your sacrifice shall be seasoned with salt. That's exactly what it says in the Hebrew.
Now, Septuagint, that's like that and the Vulgate are like the oldest Latin translations of our language, right?
Yeah, the Septuagint was written in Greek. That's the oldest translation we're going to find. Of course, you know what I mean? Translating from Hebrew to Greek it's not going to be perfect. In all honesty, the King James is better than the Septuagint. This King James is translated straight from the Masoretic text. Now, what we try to do, especially when you're dealing with the Old Testament, what we try to do is we look at the Masoretic text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Septuagint, and see which ones match. And the majority of the time, not always, but the majority of the time, the Masoretic text and the Dead Sea Scrolls match better, much more perfectly. Every once in a blue, you'll see certain things where the Septuagint will match the Dead Sea Scrolls better, so on and so forth. You feel what I'm saying? But translating from Greek from Hebrew to Greek, it's not going to be exact. The Greek language is nowhere near. Matter of fact, somebody give me that in the prologue of Ecclesiasticus.
Right, because in like Hebrew, like you say, a word depending on the context of that word can change the entire word's meaning. Right. Period, like not even related, as to where Latin really isn't like that. It's very very constricted.
It's a totally different language, right? But in the prologue,
I got it highlighted.
Con, read that for me.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus.
Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach.
Book of Sirach.
Con.
Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and intention, and to pardon us, wherein we may see to come short of some words.
So he apologized, and he like, yo, forgive me if we come short of some words, if it don't translate exactly the same as when you're reading it from the Hebrew, right? You know,
which we have
labored
to interpret.
Which they labor to interpret, to find the right words. Some things there's a saying, everybody knows the saying, lost in translation. That's a fact. That's a fact. My rib is Colombian. You know what I mean? There's certain jokes they say in Spanish, and when you translate it to English,
it don't sound funny.
It's not funny at all. But they all laughing about it in Spanish. You know what I mean? But read on.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue.
The same things that's uttered in Hebrew, that's spoken in Hebrew and translated to another tongue, right? Read.
Have not the same force in them.
Does not have the same force in them. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be exact, right? Read on.
And not only these things.
Not only these little things, right? Read.
But the law itself.
Even when it comes to the law. That's why we want to constantly go back to our original tongue and look into it and see what's being said.
Keep
right?
on?
Yeah, you keep on. Finish that up.
And the prophets.
And the prophets, right? Read.
And the rest of the books. Have no small difference.
They said they have no small difference. No small difference. When you actually looking at Hebrew, that changed everything. Right, Reed?
When they are spoken in their own languages.
That's why we got to get back to our language. It's very important. If we want to be followers of the Most High and go into that law and you know what I mean, know this Bible, it's very important for us to either learn our language or at least dig into it and see what those words mean. You feel what I'm saying? How they're used. Because how they're used, and we got to think about it too, the way we speak. You feel what I'm saying? We could actually sit here, have a conversation. Somebody from another nation come over here and listen to our conversation. They're going to be lost. Even if they know English, because they don't know how we use it. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why it's important we get into that.
State to state.
State to state, exactly. Even state to state.
Yeah.
It changed. You feel what I'm saying? That's a fact.
What's up in New York is a different what's up in the South.
What's up in New York could mean anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What's up could be a bad thing.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, but
what was it? Bernie Mac was using. I think it was Bernie Mac using the word. I don't want to say that. The curse word, mother. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah. So he's breaking that down for each. You know what I'm saying? It could mean anything. Yeah.
That could mean anything. That's how it is with Hebrew. When you really look into Hebrew, like they really, it was heavy on the slang, very heavy on the slang. So it's you gotta look at the context of how it's being used.
That's how you know they black and brown.
Right, but yeah, let's go back into this Leviticus 2 and 12, 2 and 12. Actually, we had 13.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 13. And every oblation of thy meat offering shalt thou season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt.
Read on. So he's saying, and you see the Most High like his food well seasoned. Well seasoned. That's an Israelite right there. It couldn't be this is not no Jewish person. You know what I mean? It's not no white person or nothing like that. This is a black and brown deity. You feel what I'm saying? So read on.
Verse 14. And if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruits unto the Most High, thou shalt offer for the meat offerings of thy first fruits green ears of corn dried by the fire, even corn beaten out of full ears.
Right. Read.
And thou
so it's letting you know as you really read this, even in the English, you can see that meat offering is not really meat. It's really talking about grains and fruits and stuff like that. Right? But read on.
And thou shalt put oil upon it. And lay frankincense thereon. It is a meat offering.
Right, read on.
And the priest shall burn the memorial of it.
Right.
Part of the beaten corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof.
Right. Now, this is the law on how we give first fruits, how we do our grain offering, our offering of corn, fruits, vegetables, so on and so forth. This is the law on that, right? Let's get real quick. Exodus 22. Exodus 22, verse 29.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits.
We should not delay. It's got to be the first. Don't delay to give him his offering, right? He said, don't delay. So it's not the fact that he gave, because I know Christians say that because they say, oh, God wanted animal sacrifice. I heard him say that before. He wanted animal sacrifice. He didn't want fruits. No, there's no problem with fruits. It's how you do it. That was a problem with Cain, right? Cain obviously either he didn't put no salt on it, or he didn't give him the first fruits. In all honesty, like I remember when we moved to Long Island, my family moved to Long Island. There was a peach tree in the backyard, right? And my pops, like the first fruits that came on, and I remember Matato went into this too, and it made sense. He was like, the Most High put worms in the first fruits now so that we don't eat them. The first fruits that came on always had worms in them. But my pops, he didn't care. He used to cut out the worms, cut the area out of it. So we eating the parts where the worms was in that. You feel what I'm saying? But those fruits was always the sweetest ones out of the whole tree. The first fruits, always the sweetest ones. The sweetest ones were supposed to always go to the Most High. He gets the best of the best. The first of the flock, first of everything. The first fruits was supposed to go to the Most High. You feel what I'm saying? Cain, because this is supposedly a new thing where the worms is in the first fruits. Cain, you know what I mean? He didn't want to give the Most High what he was supposed to give him. He probably wanted to keep them sweeter fruits for himself. You feel what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Right? But read that again now.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy son shalt thou give unto me.
Right. So the first of everything belongs to the Most High. Right. So Most High said, so let's go back to Genesis real quick. So Cain, he didn't keep the law according to how the Most High set it up. That was his problem. That's why the Most High didn't like that, right? Let's read that.
This is Genesis chapter 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of the flock and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
And let it be known, it was a firstling that Abel bought, like he was supposed to. Right? Read on.
Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
So the Most High didn't respect Cain and his offering, even though he takes fruits. Why? It's letting you know that this obviously wasn't the first fruit, and he didn't do it how the Most High wanted it. Right? Read.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Right? Read on.
And the Most High said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth?
He said, Why are you mad? Why are you upset that I didn't accept this? Why would you be upset if you already know, right? Read.
And why is thy countenance fallen?
Right, read.
Verse 7. If thou doest well.
If thou doest well, if you do what I want you to do, right, read.
Shall thou not be accepted?
If you know I want you to do it a certain way, you know it's going to be accepted. You know it's going to be accepted, right? But read on.
And if thou doest not well.
If you don't do what I want you to do, right, read.
Sin lieth at the door.
Sin lieth at the door. Why is he telling them about sin if there's no such thing as a law? He's telling him about the law of sacrifice. Cain obviously didn't keep the law of sacrifice. So he like, yo, you're not doing what I tell you to do. Sin lieth right at the door. And what is it going to do?
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Unto you, the sin, the devil is going to be on you. Right? Read.
And thou shalt rule over him.
And the devil's going to rule over you. Because you're not following after the Most High. And what is sin?
Transgression of the law.
Let's get that.
Law.
I don't know what's that.
Come on, First John chapter 3.
1 John chapter 3.
1 John chapter 3, verse 4. We're going to see what sin is. Whoever got it could read it.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Whoever commits sin transgresseth also the law. So what is sin?
For sin is the transgression of the law.
And we see Cain broke the law of sacrifice. That's why. That's why the Most High didn't accept it, because he sinned. He went against the law of sacrifice. Right? But let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 7 and 8. Genesis 4 and 8.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And
Cain was jealous of his brother and killed him. Now, remember, we was going into this before too, where, you know what I mean, everything that happened during this time, the trees, for instance, we already know the trees was other nations. Cain was the beginning of another nation. Cain, and there's somebody we see after this that matched this type of behavior where he wants to kill his own brother. Who was that? Esau, right? Let's get Genesis 27:41.
This is the book of Genesis, chapters 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
Esau hated Jacob, his twin brother. Esau hated his brother, right? Read.
Because of the blessings wherewith his father blessed him.
Same reason, jealousy. Because his father, the Most High, of course, gave that to Isaac to bless him anyways, and he understood that. So he knew that the Most High chose Jacob over him. Isaac chose Jacob over him. So he jealous of his brother, right? Read.
And Esau said in his heart, the day of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Got the same exact spirit. Esau had that Cain spirit, the murder of his brother, right? That's the type of stuff Esau do now. You see how Esau is. They'll kill their parents, a whole family, You know what I mean? Tell you the dog told him to do it.
I think Elder Osh brought out the fact that you see that Esau was a great hunter.
Right.
What is he like to hunt? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he like to hunt us.
Yeah.
Right. But you was about to get out?
No, we're still trying to find transgression of the law slug.
That's 1 John 3 and 4. We read that already. 1 John 3 and 4. Mark that down.
Didn't Paul say I wouldn't know sin if it wasn't for the law?
Con, that's a fact. That's why the Most High letting him know, like, yo, you know better. If you knew better, you do better.
Con.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know better. Right?
Still don't understand it.
So if you know better, you gonna do better.
No, I
So
understand it, but
that was actually the clue this whole time, that you knew what you were supposed to do.
Right.
You do good. You knew that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he already knew. Right. But yeah, let's read on though.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right. Now Cain actually lying to the Most High. He like the Most High don't know. You know what I mean?
10 times brighter than the sun.
Yeah, eyes is 10 times brighter than 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
10,000 times brighter than the sun.
You gonna sit here and lie to the Most High? That's how Esau feel like they could get away with everything now. They lying on the Bible, lying on the Most High, lying on his people, thinking they're gonna get away with stuff. The pride of this man. Right? But read on.
Verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done?
Mm-hmm.
The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Right. Read.
Verse 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
And he said, thou cursed from the earth, right? He cursed from the earth, right? Read.
Verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
That's why they took us in slavery. This land wasn't flourishing for them. You look today over in California and all these areas, is who's doing all the farm work?
Issachar.
Issachar. That's a fact. Judah now, well, Judah before, yeah, Judah. Especially when you go on, I guess on the east side, it's still a lot of Issachar, Northern Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
They got the islands everywhere. They bought us was so that we could till the ground for them, because it's not going to yield for them.
When the pagans first came here, they weren't taught. They were taught by the natives how to grow corn.
Right, and they still had to go to them anyways, regardless.
Yeah.
Because it's not, this land is not going to yield the strength for them. So they know they want to keep us in slavery, keep us doing the work for them, because everything yields for us. Right? Read on.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 13. And Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
He said his punishment, he just killed his brother and he's complaining about the punishment he gets. That's Esau for you. That's Esau for you all the way. He just killed the man. He killed his brother and saying, yo, this is too much. They're going to go in the court. I'm sorry, I killed their whole family, but they was in my way.
No problem, Mr. Ritter. You go ahead and go on home.
And they get off.
That's crazy.
It's so true.
You see how it is, right? Yeah, this is a characteristic of Esau all the way.
Oh, that is
right. But read on.
Verse 14.
On the head.
Verse 14. Genesis 4, verse 14. Behold.
Matter of fact, hold on. We didn't finish 12 actually.
We finished 12.
No, we didn't finish it.
We didn't finish 12.
No, just straight 8. If you just
all right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right,
a fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth.
A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. If there's nobody else on the earth, how would he be a fugitive and a vagabond? If there wasn't other people.
In fact,
Adam and Eve. But he was the firstborn of Adam and Eve, and they only had Abel. He killed Abel. You know, Adam and Eve ain't killing their own son. You feel what I'm saying?
We haven't made it to it yet.
Huh?
Doesn't he come upon? We haven't made it to it yet? Doesn't he come upon his wife in the wilderness somewhere?
Yeah. We gonna get to that.
Okay,
too.
bad. Yeah.
That's coming up. But yeah, it's just showing you that they wasn't the only people on this earth. Right, but read on.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
And Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Right, read on.
Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid.
So he knows that he's not gonna have that protection from the Most High. The Most High not gonna be dealing with him no more. Right, read on.
And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Who is this everyone? If there's nobody else there,
right?
Who is this everyone? It can't be. Obviously, he wasn't the only. They wasn't the only people on this earth, right? So read on.
Verse 15. And the Most High said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Right, and we still actually see this to this day. When they kill us, it's like, oh, kid, it, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But if you kill one of them, it's all holes, boy. It's straight war. Oh, they killed the white man. We try to defend ourselves, kill somebody by accident. They came into our villages and they want to hang everybody, burn the whole thing down. Oh, they killed the white man. You feel what I'm saying? The same thing is going on. They take it sevenfold to this day. Right? Read on.
And the Most High set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him shall kill him.
Then this is that physical mark, which is this made him the first white man on earth.
All right. Like in the South, when you encounter like clans members and shit, because some of them be on a little religious thing, all of them universally say that the mark of Cain is God turned to black. That is that's across the board down there. That's what they, when you debating them, that's it. Nah, the mark of Cain is the fact that he's black. You know, that's what they say and shit.
Yeah, because you know they liars and devils, and that's what.
Yeah, they'd be like, look, here it is.
It's the white skin. Yeah. They gave him, this is a physical mark. When you look at it, it's a physical. Let me pull that up. Real quick.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because has to be a physical mark, because he's saying so that when they see you, they're not gonna kill you. You know what I mean? They're gonna know, like, okay, this is Cain. Once they see him, they're gonna like, yo, this is Cain. Don't kill him. Yeah, do your thing. Let's see.
Now, when they see him, because it's like I'm assuming maybe the other people on the earth know who the Most High is. Now, when they see him, is it a thing like, oh, we're scared, don't kill him, or oh, no, that's OG Cain, he likes to kill motherfuckers. We love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this big OG, give us Barabbas. You know what I'm saying? Like type shit. Like I don't like.
Here's the thing. I can't really tell you for sure. I can't tell you for sure what he do know. He put that mark so that they know once they see him, they know that that's Cain, so they can't touch him. Whether they know, okay, the Most High is gonna punish them for that, or you know what I mean, this OG Cain.
Because you know how people treat the wicked, man. When they see a wicked dude, like we love him. You know, he's so wicked. You know what I'm saying?
He made sure. He made sure that that mark. That mark is that word is a wab. A wab in Hebrew, H225, in the sense of appearing. So it's something with his appearance, a signal, literally or figuratively, as a flag, beacon, monument, omen, prodigy, evidence, a mark, miracle, sign, token. You know what I'm saying? So when they see him, a sign, he highlights of biblical usage.
True.
See A right there, right? A
right.
distinguishing mark. Right? Sign, signal. Right? So they so that when they see him, they know, okay, yo, we can't touch him. We can't touch him. We see the in verse chapter 3 when we read that he knew about the Most High. The snake knew about the Most High. They already knew it. You know, they was wicked, but still, they already knew about the Most High. So if the Most High put that word out there, they knew it was going to happen. Right? But read on.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Most High.
So he left the Garden of Eden, right? Read.
and dwelt in the land of Nod.
So there's already another land, you know what I mean, with a name to it, right? Read
on the east of Eden.
Right, read.
Verse 17. And Cain knew his wife.
So he met this lady. This is not, and I actually heard, I think Jehovah's Witness told me this, and I'm pretty sure all Christians teach that he married his sister, committed.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Where if they only had Cain and Abel, you feel what I'm saying? As we read on, we see that they didn't have no more children. Seth was the next child, and that was way after. And then he didn't have no daughters until after Seth.
Long after.
How is this possible? You feel what I'm saying? I met a woman somewhere else, right? He met a woman. He knew his wife, right? Read on.
Verse 17. And Cain knew his wife.
Not his sister, his wife, right? Read.
And she conceived and bare Enoch.
So Enoch, this is not the Enoch that everybody.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask that. I'm like, where that's
this is not.
Nah, he goes like a city after this or something.
Huh?
No, I was saying this is his son, totally different Enoch.
Totally different Enoch. At this time, Enoch wasn't a uncommon name, basically. Enoch the other Enoch that everybody knows about is actually a descendant of Seth. So this is Cain's first child right here, Enoch, right? You can read on.
And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch.
So he built a city. A city is a place for a bunch of people. You know what I mean? He built a city named it Enoch. And he built, just for the three of them? You know what I'm saying? People got to be.
That's another trait Esau, right? Too. Naming cities after their own.
Naming cities after their own. Yeah, that's a fact. That's another trait of it. Right? But yeah, you can read on.
Verse 18. And until Enoch was born, Irad. And Irad begot Mahujael.
Yeah, so we actually going into the lineage of Esau. I mean, the lineage of Cain right now. Right, read on.
And Mahujael begot Methusael. Methusael begot Lamech. Lamech,
right, read on.
And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. Verse 20. And Adah bare Jabal, and he was father of such as dwell in tents.
So he kind of how you put it, I guess there was a pioneer of people that was living in tents at the time. Right? Read on.
And of such as have cattle.
So yeah, and pretty much a pioneer of those that had cattle. Right? Read on.
Verse 21. And his brother's name was Jubal, and he was the father of all such as handled the harp and organ.
Yeah, so he was pushing that harp and organ. Organ as it was like a instrument.
Does that mean he's technically the father of music, organized music?
I wouldn't say that. It might be just those types of instruments. I'm pretty sure.
The reason I ask is because the spirit that came on Saul by playing the harp, or the spirit that came off of Saul by playing the harp, rather, I should say.
Where David was playing the harp. Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah, he might have just been like the one that came up with the harp and organ. As far as music itself, I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure he had other. Like he probably was the father of the string instruments, because I know wind instruments was out way before then. Right. Way before string instruments, basically, I should say. Wind instruments, I think, was like flutes and stuff like that. They the oldest.
Whistling.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we had drums and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure we had other stuff. Right?
Okay, I get it.
Verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain,
yeah.
An instructor of every artificer and brass and iron.
Okay. So he used to teach people how to, make stuff with brass and iron, right, Reed?
And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. Verse 23. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. Verse 24. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold.
Yeah, so
What does that mean?
that?
I've read that my whole life. I've been like, well,
Yeah.
I guess hey, Cain's an OG and shit. I can do this
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's how he looking at it, because that's his ancestor. He like, yo, Cain is
Right.
an OG. Yo, I'm more gangster than Cain. Like,
Yeah, no shit.
He try to put himself on that level. He like, yo, I'm gangster. Like, yo, if they get avenged, if they get avenged, if Cain get avenged sevenfold, like me, I'm more gangster. It's gonna be 70 times sevenfold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how he's looking. He's really feeling himself.
So that is how he's feeling about this.
Yeah.
Then okay.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling himself. All right, but you can read on.
Verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth.
Now this is their next child. Now their next child come after Cain already got grandchildren. You know what I mean? Now they got their next child. You feel what I'm saying? Read on.
For the Most High said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew.
Yeah, now the Most High gave them another child for the one that they lost, which was Abel. Right? But read on.
26. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son. And he called his name Enos.
Right. So now it's going into the lineage of Seth, right? Read on.
Then began men to call upon the Most High, thy power.
The name of the Most High.
In the name of the Most High, Salakia.
So now you see Seth and his children pushing the word of the Most High. They pushing that around the world. Right? You can read on.
Chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that the Most High created man, in the likeness of the Most High made him. Made he him.
Right.
Verse 2. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created.
Right. So that time Adam means man. Right. But read on. So he said it's a generation of Adam, of men, you know what I mean? But the descendants of Adam, the original Adam, right? Read.
Verse 3. And Adam lived in 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth.
Then we seen the ages of our people as they was having children. Like he didn't have Seth until he was 130 years old already. 130 years old came up with Seth, right? And as he said, a son after his own image. So Seth was a righteous man moving in the image of
the Most High.
Yeah. Well, in the image of the Most High, you could say following after the Most High, but he was just like Adam. Most High chose Adam for a reason, because of how he was moving. Right? But read on.
Verse 4. In the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begot son and daughters.
So he had lived up to 800 years after he had Seth. But during that time, he had sons and daughters after Seth. Right? Read.
And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
So Adam lived to be 930 years. He almost lived a full day.
That's crazy.
Almost a full day in the eyes of the Most High. Almost a full day. 930 years, but he lived a long time.
I was going to say he lived a full day.
Almost. I could say almost. So he said, because in the kingdom, we get promised that full 1,000 years. You know what I mean? But Adam fell short because of that one sin that he had. So he fell short of that. Right? But read on.
Verse 6. And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enos.
So Seth, and we gotta look at these years of when they even having these children. It shows how, like for instance, there's a verse in Isaiah.
105 years.
Yeah, 105 years. So you can see like that. You can see. What you gonna say?
Oh, I just had a quick question. So was only the descendants of Adam living up to 1,000, around 1,000, or was it everybody on the planet?
That we don't know.
Come.
The descendants of Adam is the only ones they tell you about.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Which I can actually see that, because in all honesty, when you look at for instance, let me see, let me grab this real quick. See if I can find this real quick. Because it talks about the lifespan in Israel, in the kingdom. And Israel is going to be living up to 1,000 years, while the other nations are going to live up to 100. Like, we fell. We're living like how the other nations are living right now. But it's not supposed to be that way. Let me see if I can find this.
So 800 years he had a daughter.
Yeah.
Shit, that's crazy.
Let's see if I can find this, if this is correct. Give me a sec. Give me a sec, y'all. Come. Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65 verses. We'll start at we could start at 17 actually.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth.
Now this is the change of rulership. We're gonna be on top and Esau is gonna be on the bottom of that day, right? Read on.
And the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
Because we're gonna be living so good, like we're not even gonna think about how we was living during this time. Right? Read on.
But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create.
Yeah, we're gonna just have straight happiness. Be rejoicing to the Most High. Be happy, glad. Right? Read on.
For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy.
Right. That's what we're gonna have. Right now, our people's in pain, suffering, mourning. They think the Most High don't like them because of what they going through. He like, yo, he gonna change all that. We're not gonna remember none of this no more. All this is gonna be like a distant, a nightmare, a bad dream. Right? But read on.
And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people.
He gonna love us. He gonna show us that love that we were supposed to be been getting if we was following his laws. Read.
And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her.
No more crying. No more sadness. No more pain. Right? This is what we got to look forward to if we keeping his laws. Read.
Nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence and infants of days.
No more thence an infant in days. No more shall one of our babies die at birth or be stillbirth or anything like that. Right? Or even dying young. Dying young is an infant in days. Because we're supposed to live 1,000 years. Right? Read on.
Nor an old man that hath not filled his days.
No, nor old man. There's going to be no man that's going to be considered old and not fulfill his whole days, which is 1,000 years. Read.
For the child shall die 100 years old.
The child shall die 100 years old. That's going into the wicked people. That's going into the other nations. They're going to die 100 years old. To us, that's a child. Right? Read.
But the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed.
Yeah, and the sinner, when they're 100 years old, they are cursed when they make it. To us, it's a child, but to them, they are cursed. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Right? Read.
And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all that back. But yeah, basically like 100 years old is gonna be like a child to us. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
Right. So we infants at 40.
Yeah, we infants at 40. At 100, we're infant. We're young. We're young at 100 years old. So you see how they was when they was having babies. They hitting 130 years old, 180 years old, and then starting to have babies.
Right.
That's like how we looking at them 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds having babies now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right, but read on.
Book of Genesis, verse 5, chapter 5, verse 7. And Seth lived after he begot Enos 807 years and begot sons and daughters.
So he
at
lived
800.
Yeah. He said, and we got sons and daughters during that whole time, right? Read.
Verse 8. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died.
Right. So he didn't have his first child until he was 105 years old. And he lived to be, what's it say? 912 years old. Lived a long
and at
time.
800, we got more sons and daughters.
Right. And during that time, that time, it's just saying that 800 is saying it's after he had that first child. He lived 800. What did it say? Where is it at?
7.
Verse 7. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years. So it's 807 years more after he had his first child and begot sons and daughters during that time. Right? We read on.
Verse 9. And Enos lived 90 years and begot Canaan.
Now we see the time frame, the life expectancy is shortening, and they're having babies at a shorter time now. You feel what I'm saying? We're seeing the change, right? He said now Enos, his son, had a baby at, what was it again?
90 years.
90.
And begot Canaan. Verse 9.
Verse 9. 90 years and begot Canaan, right? Read.
Verse 10. And Enos lived after he begot Canaan 815 years and begot sons and daughters.
Right.
Verse 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
So he had lived 905 years. That's what they say. The oldest person in modern times would live to be what? 125.
Now, right now they just found somebody that's 134.
134.
They've been posting that all week.
Okay.
So they say, but 134 years. 134 years ago, their records, you be seeing people. I don't know when I was born. I might have been born. I might be 60 or 40. I don't know.
That's actually a fact, because I remember my mom said with my grandmother. My grandmother was born probably in the 19. They estimate around 1914 or something like that. But she
right.
Yeah. She said she was born in a house. They didn't have no birth certificates then. They got birth certificates years down the line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they didn't really know how old she was. It made me ask. I'm like, yo, hold on. Like, grandma, 95 years old. She been 95 for like the past 10 years. I'm like, yo, I keep hearing she 95 years old. This going on too long. And my mom like, yeah, they don't know how old she really is.
Yeah. And then reading and writing and arithmetic aren't at the, especially they don't want to teach our people none of that. So like,
right. Yeah, at that time that was right after slavery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess she's from Alabama, so they was still
Oh yeah, they still now. They still on it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Today.
But yeah, we can go on. But yeah, what I was saying. We still, even if the person lived to be like 130 something, they all wrinkled up. You know what I mean? They old. They ready to die.
That's why it's a curse,
huh?
That's why I said it's a curse.
Right. They ready to die. At this time, they just having babies. You know what I mean? Imagine how young they look. They in the top of their game at 130 years old, 120, 105.
So how old are you? 140? Have a
kid?
You a baby.
You a baby at 140 years old. You know what I mean?
You 80 years old. You know you too young to be having kids.
Talk
to me when you get around 900.
500 years is the 50th birthday.
You know what I mean?
Something like that.
Wow. That's it. That's what we got to look forward to. That's beautiful. Right? But read on.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
So he lived to be 905, right? We don't.
And Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel.
Mahalalel. So he had his first child at 70. As we see the time goes on, it's just dropping. Right? Read on.
Verse 13. And Canaan lived after he begot Mahalalel 840 years and begot sons and daughters. Verse 14. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died.
Right. Read.
And Mahalalel lived 64 years and begot
60
Jared.
and 5.
65 years, Salakia, and begot Jared. And Mahalalel lived after he begot Jared 830 years and begot sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died.
Yeah, so he only lived to be 895. I'm saying only, like that's short. But compared to everybody else, that was short. 895 years.
100 years shorter. Right.
The read on.
Verse 19, verse 18. And Jared lived 162 years and begot Enoch.
Okay, so Jared did it how everybody else was doing it. He went back up 162 years, and that's when he had his first child, right? Which is Enoch. Read.
And Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years and begot sons and daughters.
Now this is the Enoch that everybody talk about, right? Read on.
Verse 20. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died.
Mm-hmm.
And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah.
Mm-hmm.
And Enoch walked with the Most High after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters.
Right. Read.
Verse 23. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years.
So Enoch lived 365 years, and then what?
And walked with the Most High, and he was not, for the Most High took him.
Yeah, so he didn't see no regular death. The Most High took him up.
Ascended.
Right. Read on.
And Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech.
Mm-hmm.
And Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 782 years and begot sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died.
Yeah, Methuselah was another righteous man, and Methuselah actually lived the longest out of everybody.
That name is fire. Methuselah. Mm-hmm. What's that mean?
I forget. We could look it up though right now. Damn, I wish I could get this working. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like it's stuck on that.
Now, hey, listen. I know that we have the Apocrypha right here, but Enoch, the book of Enoch, is not something that Israelites read often. I see. I don't know why.
Here's the thing: when you look at the book of Enoch, they got some things in there that contradict the Bible.
Okay.
When we look at, for instance, when you the oldest book of Enoch that you could find, well, complete version they found supposedly in Ethiopia. Which is what they get this modern version from. I ain't trusting them Ethiopians, first of all. Why is it there and not with our other stuff? Like in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they found bits and pieces of a book of Enoch. It wasn't not enough to make no you know what I mean? No real.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, how could it be canonized? It says right here he was taken up. So when did he have time to write anything?
The funny thing, as I was reading it, I was thinking, like, wait,
here's the thing.
You're right. You know, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how was he to come back and write a book?
But here's the thing, though. He was here 300 years before he went up. So, like, you got people writing books at 19, 20 years old.
But
that's true. But when I read a good chunk of the book of Enoch, and he's in that book, as the narrative goes, he's a scribe for the angels. So everything that he wrote would have been after the time he was taken up.
Yeah, it says
there was nothing for him to write while he was here.
Back. Yeah, I remember I read it too. He said when he went up, then came back and then went back up.
I'm like,
I heard he lived to 1,000 and then went up. That's what I was told before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely not biblical. We don't see that nowhere here. He said he took him up after 360 years, 365 years.
Yeah, right here, and that's it. Bang. Yeah. End of story.
That's why I was reading. My mind as I'm reading, I'm like, wait,
yeah. Different. So I wouldn't I definitely wouldn't subscribe to that at all, especially since it contradicts certain things. You know what I mean? But it do have some good information in there. I ain't gonna hold you. There's certain things I do believe that it was written by Israelites. They got it from Israelites, but as far as it being Enoch, I don't see that. I don't think that was Enoch. I think people was just trying to. They knew the name, they knew the story, and they was trying to put something together.
Just trying to make something like trying to be involved. Yeah.
But let me pull up.
Methuselah, right?
Yeah, that's
not only that. The story was between the Most High and the angels. Like that wasn't our business necessarily.
Right.
That was the other thing. Like we had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. What was I trying to look? Oh yeah, 22. All right. Methuselah. Look up this name real quick. Mathwashla. Slakia. Mathwashla. Which means what does it mean? Man of the dark. Man of the dark. I don't understand what that means.
Doth as a DOTH?
DART.
Oh.
Dark.
Yeah, dark.
That's what I was first thing that came to mind. Well, he is the son of Seth. I mean Enoch. Yeah. So he's probably the dark. I don't know.
Man of the dark. The man of a dark. Yeah. That might be it. That might be what it means. You on point.
Enoch was on point, but that's the son of, I don't know, maybe.
Sound like it. Plus, he got to live the longest out of everybody. So, you know what I mean? He must have been doing something right. Right? And of course, he taught his sons and so on, right? Read on.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 27. In the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Mm-hmm. And Lamech lived 182 years and begot a son. Mm-hmm. And he called his name Noah.
Mm-hmm. So this is where Noah comes into play, right?
Saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil out of our hands, because of the ground which the Most High had cursed. Mm-hmm. Verse 30. And Lamech lived and begot Noah 595 years and begot sons and daughters.
Right. So Lamech lived to be 900.
I ain't get there yet.
Salaki, my fault.
Verse 31. And the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died.
So he lived 770 years and died. And then what? Read on.
Verse 32. And Noah was 500 years old and begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Mm-hmm. So now we see where it's coming in. Next time we come up here, we're going to be going into the flood. You know what I mean?
Those are the progenitors, right? Of today's people.
Yeah, this is where everybody comes from.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Right. We are Shemites.
Right. Everybody on this planet right now descends from one of those three men right there, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
And we surrounded by Japheth.
Over here, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? With that, we give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. We're about to send up these prayers and hit this camp.
I wish I could come with y'all, man. Shalom.
Shalom.
We was there before we even got on. We again talked about it again. We time's been a little hard, but brothers gonna make it out there. We gotta come out there and see you.
Today I'm gonna go ahead and go on. I'm gonna pick out a route like how military units pick out routes for patrol. Pick out a route for patrol, and whoever I run into, man, that's who I'm spitting the word to. You know, that's how I feel like. Cause I feel like I was telling you on the text. I feel like I'm becoming a slothful servant. You know what I'm saying? Like I hop on here, so I get the lesson. I got the lesson from the elder before that, but that's not works, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really about to hit the fan, and like some of our people, somebody out there needs to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? I got to do the Most High's work, but I understand what I'm commissioned for and what I'm not commissioned for. So you know that kind of thing.
Yeah, that flyer mission, like you said, that'll be perfect. You know what I mean?
I actually get that from Really Hebrew, because he was talking about he had a camp somewhere in the South. I think it was Louisiana, but he was saying that nobody was teaching there. They only do flyer missions because there was no officer among them. Right. So I thought that was a good idea for me.
Yeah, that's how it's really supposed to be, which is right. He moved correct. You know what I mean? You know, he learned from all the elders.
Who?
Gorilla Hebrew.
Oh.
Al-Azhar.
Kahan. He learned from Kahan and Methathawa and Ash and all them. So he was around all the elders. Yeah. Tahar, all them. You know what I mean? But with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory. We're gonna link up. I'm gonna text you later on, brother.
All right, Shalom, family.
Shalom.
All right.
Broadcast.